In this video, I want to talk to you about persistence and how you can use it to reach your goals. Hey guys, it's Mo Mustafa here, author, speaker, coach, and welcome to another edition of Motivated Muscle, where you learn the mindset secrets to help you burn stubborn body fat and add lean muscle. And in this video, we want to talk about how you can use persistence to reach your goals of getting in shape permanently and naturally. So first of all, let's talk about why persistence is so important. Well, without persistence, you're going to find it very difficult to reach any real substantial goals. Why? Because if you're just starting a project, or you're trying to get in shape and all you're doing is going to the gym, for a week or 2 weeks, and then you stop going, ultimately, you're not going to have much to show for that effort. Think of it in terms of learning to drive. If you were only to do 1 or 2 driving lessons, or maybe just 10 driving lessons, what are you going to really get from that, right? You need to be able to do enough driving lessons to reach your goal. You need to be able to do enough workouts to reach your goal, okay? There's a great saying that John Maxwell talks about in his book, I think it's the 21 Immutable Laws of Growth, where he talks about the rule of 5. And he says that if you had a tree and you wanted to chop it down, now obviously depending on the size of the tree, but imagine it was a pretty substantial sized tree, then if you were to take an axe and chop away at that tree 5 times, you're going to have an impact. However, the tree isn't going to fall down. You're going to have to come back the next day and chop it another 5 times, and the next day and chop it another 5 times, and the next day and chop it another 5 times. And sooner or later, that tree will fall down. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Okay, now, so if you don't have persistence, then you're not going to be able to see the results that you're after in life. And ultimately, anything worth getting is going to require a level of persistence. Now, if you do have the persistence, then you get all the great benefits. You're going to be able to achieve your goals, whatever that might be, whether you're looking to get a 6-pack or you're looking to add muscle, whatever that might be, sooner or later, you're going to reach that goal if you're doing all the right things persistently enough and over the long term. Okay, there's another great book I highly recommend you check out by Darren Hardy. That's the one up there. I've got it up on my shelf, called The Compound Effect. And basically he says that, results compound over time. And if you imagine you're trying to pump water using a water pump, for the first, however long, you're going to have to pump away and nothing is going to happen. And it's going to seem like all your effort is wasted. But sooner or later, the water's going to come out of the pump and you're going to have fresh tap water on pump. So the key is you need to be able to do it long enough to be able to see the goals. Okay? So, for those who are not really sure, what is persistence? Basically, there's many different definitions, but really it's the willingness to do something long enough over the long period of time, to keep going. And there's an extra part here, is that you keep going long enough to actually start seeing the results, despite how you may feel in the moment. Okay, so how can we develop persistence? Well, on the surface it's quite simple. It's just a case of just do the thing you need to do, right? So if I was to say to you, write a book, like I wrote my first book, I think a couple of years ago, and when I had to write that book, I had to work on it every single day. I didn't have to work on it every single day, but I chose to work on it every single day for a good few months, and then I got the whole thing written up and it was done. Okay, so you have to be persistent with it long enough to see the goals, but sometimes you may find that you may lack the motivation to do it, right? That's really the key. I mean, how many of us know what we need to do to get in shape and know what we need to get a 6-pack, but we lack the motivation to get the results? Okay, so what I would suggest to you to actually increase the likelihood of you reaching your goals is, instead of having really big goals on their own, is to break those big goals into smaller steps. Okay, break them into smaller steps, and in your mind mentally allocate to those smaller steps. Call them individual goals. Okay, so just to give you another example, when I went to university, my end goal was to get my degree. Okay, so I graduated with a business degree, but to get there, I had to do multiple assignments each year in each semester, and then I would pass the first year, and then I carried on and passed the second year and passed the third year. But I didn't wait until the very end, until I actually, give myself a pat on the shoulder and celebrated. I would celebrate along the way when I was reaching different milestones, and that's what you want to do. You want to celebrate your victories. You want to give yourself something to motivate yourself towards. You want to know what lies at stake if you don't take action. Okay, so for example, if I didn't get my degree, then I may not have got certain qualifications and certain opportunities and so on. But you need to know what the what's going to drive you towards your goals, what's basically going to motivate you to take action, and what the consequences are as well if you don't take action. Okay, so for example, in the context of getting in shape, if you are right now overweight and you may be 20 pounds or 30 or 50 pounds overweight, whatever it might be, okay? Now, if you were to carry on that particular lifestyle and you don't do anything about your problem, chances are you're going to have to do something about your problem sooner or later. Okay, it's like driving around with a car and you've got a blatant puncture in the car, but you think, well, I'm just going to ignore it. But sooner or later that tire is going to blow, and it's going to be a lot worse to sort out the other consequences than if you address it earlier down the line. I talk about this a lot, about prevention being better than cure. Okay, so one of the ways to motivate yourself to be consistent in your goals is obviously have a goal, and then as you're working towards it and you're being persistent, is keep reminding yourself what will happen if you stop doing what you're doing. Okay, but also keep reminding yourself of what you stand to gain when you see through your goals. Okay, so I'll give you one more word of encouragement here. Every now and then I might get a minor blip along the way, and this was something that will happen inevitably if you're involved in training and stuff. Occasionally you might get a small injury, or you might not feel very well, or whatever it might be. So I encourage you, obviously, listen to your body, listen to yourself, and speak to your doctor and that kind of stuff. These days, I've been to the doctor on several occasions if I feel like maybe back pain or something, but I more or less kind of understand my body, and I know when I need to back off from my training a little bit, and when I can increase intensity and stuff. So like today, right now, I've got a little bit of back pain here, my left hand side of my back or whatever, but I'm going to carry on training. Okay, I'm just going to train around the injury. I'm going to leave the injury. It's not necessarily an injury, but there's a sore area. I'm going to leave that for a second. I'm going to work around it. I'm going to come back to it eventually. And here's the thing as well. Think of this like in an exam. I don't know when you were in school last, but I remember when I was in college and school and university and stuff, what I would do is when I had an exam paper, the way I would pass my test, I would go straight for the questions that I knew the answer to, and I would leave the more difficult ones to the end. I could address that, but at least I got the main thing sorted. I can go back to the other ones, and I still get the exam passed. And again, I'm not telling you here how to address your injuries or anything like that, but ultimately, if you've got a sore foot, that's not going to stop you from doing bench pressing or something, right? So again, check with your doctor. I'm not a personal trainer or anything like that, but I'm just letting you know you have to be able to be willing to be persistent and not give up on your goal every time you hit a minor hurdle or anything like that in your training. Okay, so that's my word of encouragement to you guys here. So I encourage you to set yourself a goal, and if you struggling with goal setting and finding your motivating reason and stuff, you can now get access to my training called Think Yourself Lean, which is free training that I'm giving away via my website. Just click on the link right below this video and you go straight across to my website and get access to it. And before you do that, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel as well. And I will see you guys very soon. My name is Mustafa. All the best. Take care.